Animal Abuse 451 Electric Boogaloo. 4 out of 10, not enough action taken by the government. But really, I'm here for all of you. Buy this book because I read it. To convince you, I'll even call it its real name. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. See? I'm a credible person. Well, then tell me why you find it interesting. Shut it, I'm getting to that. Fahrenheit 451 takes place in the future. Dystopian society. Yeah, all that garbage. The main character, who by the way has the most amazing protagonist name that has ever been developed, lives in a big city that has no name. Montag pays his dues as a fireman, which in this society isn't volunteer work. Also, instead of putting out fires, they just kind of burn books instead, which in itself was a literary element, as it plays on the word fireman being taken both ways. Well done, Bray Radbury. In case you didn't notice, I mixed that one up on purpose. Har har har, joke joke joke. Punchline. Anyway, Montag has been a black sheep of sorts in the fireman business. He seems to be more perceptive than his colleague. Thus, he slowly begins to realize that burning people's property and possibly the people themselves isn't the right sort of thing to do. Hey, it's a dystopian society, don't expect much. The primary application of Montag's job is to burn books and anyone who has them. Thus, why has it come as a surprise when the black sheep himself has a collection of books in his own house? Surprise, surprise. With his collection of books and imaginary friends, Montag attempts to piece together the mystery of why the heck everyone seems to be going crazy about the book. One of the biggest dilemmas towards the reader in this book is figuring out if Montag's actually a complete lunatic, or he's trying to figure out what's going on. Well, technically, he is trying to figure out what's going on. It's just if he's crazy or not in the process. Anyway, amongst the imaginary cast of Pee-wee's Playhouse, Montag edition, we have Montag himself, big, possibly insane, scruffy dude, who just seems to be confused all the time, main character trait, quote-unquote. Amongst Montag's colleagues, only one of them is noteworthy, Betty the fireman captain. Tall, with a lot of black, scruffy hair everywhere, and despite being so distanced from the world around him, he's probably more knowledgeable than the normal person. Next we have Mildred, Montag's wife, aka Animal Abuse Central, and quite possibly the most senseless and stupid character ever created by man. Mildred is a good character in a book. In person, mass vote towards lynching. And finally, we have Faber, a philosophical old dude, which somehow Montag remembered even after 10 to 15 years of absence. Together, all these characters create a gigantic web of character contrast. You have the neutral good with Montag. He's sensical, but not quite on point. Faber, who's on point, but not very courageous. Betty the captain, who is sensical but completely off the wall, and Mildred, who's just completely out there. This web gives you an idea of how society functions and what kind of people live in it. Because if you believe it, not everyone knows what's going on. Some people actually believe the government is there to protect them, and burning books is okay. In fact, that's one of the major themes of the book. As Montag grows and morphs throughout the entirety of the book, the world is slowly open to him. And considering you can only see the perspective through Montag, it's open to you too. Why is this an important thing? Because, similar to you at the end of the book, Montag can look back on himself and say, I was a complete idiot and I am sorry for what I have done. Both of those statements also apply to you. It's a theme of big revelation and oh god, I'm sorry. And it draws the entire book together. All in all, the book made me feel kind of conflicted at the end. Which is a good thing, mind you. If a book can make you feel anything besides regretting reading the book, it's a good thing. Should I feel this way? Should I feel that way? Which also relates to the theme. Kind of like looking down at a book and seeing your own face saying to you, I control your life now. Oh god, the swirling pain and agony. I'm sure glad I read this book. But really, in truth, this part of the book is what makes it worth reading. It's an adventure all by itself. Thus, I will read to you an excerpt of Montag being an idiot. This is after him plopping a book in the middle of the floor in front of all of the visitors current, and thus has to play it off as a joke, as a fireman training exercise. The room was blazing hot. He was all fire, he was all coldness. They sat in the middle of an empty desert, with 3 chairs and him standing, swaying, and him waiting for Mrs. Phelps to stop straightening her dress, hem, and Mrs. Bowles to take her fingers away from her hair. Then he began to read in a low, stumbling voice that grew firmer as he progressed from line to line. And his voice went out across the desert, into the whiteness, and around the 3 sitting women there in the great hot emptiness. The Sea of Faith was once too at the full and round earth's shore, lay like folds of a bright girdle furled, but now I only hear its melancholy long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind, down the vast edges of drear and naked shingles of the world. The chairs creaked under the three. Montag finished it out. Ah, love, let us be true to another. For the world, which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain, and we are here on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant alarms clash by night. Mrs. Phelps was crying. So yeah, that sort of thing. I'm gonna tell you now, this book is certainly a roller coaster. If you're the kind of person that has a faint heart and doesn't have the mind to read long, lecturing paragraphs full of detail, then this book isn't for you. However, if you dig that sort of thing, I would certainly recommend it.